Welcome, everybody. I'm Sherri Johnson. This is going to be a great session. We've got this recorded. We're going to send it to you. We have about 100 and some folks supposed to be joining us. I'm sure they're all going to come in on realtor time, which is fine. You're here. I'm going to get started. And I will tell you right now, we've got a topic for you today that I think you're going to love: how to sell literally 5 sales off of every listing. So everyone obviously are interested in that topic, right? You wouldn't be here. Remember the house you sold and you had a sign in the yard and you didn't want the sign to come down because you were getting so many transactions from it, any leads from it, right? You actually had a listing. The yard sign was out there. If you are licensed for 4 or 5 years right now, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay. But if you've been licensed longer than that, when we have a little bit longer market time, which we are seeing more of, there is an ability to get spin-off business from every single listing. And I'm going to share that with you and why it works and how it works and how I built my entire business on leveraging one house into multiple sales, right? So it will work for you. It will work if you put in a strategy to do that. I'm going to give you a couple of strategies that we teach in our one-to-one coaching that have made agents $100,000 in 3 months. It's made them $100,000 at one open house. And so sometimes I hear people say, well, these strategies seem to be, I don't want to say old school, but the bottom line is things like open house or working the listing in a neighborhood work. There's no cost. There's no paying for a lead, right? You are not paying for leads, and this is all organic lead generation. And so I think what we get tied up on and worried about is like, are these leads going to be good leads? Are they going to be? Yes, they are. You just don't know how to do the open house the right way, right? If you had an open house and you got 5 potential clients from it and they all were going to buy and sell, you'd have 10 transactions, right? Do you do the math with me? That's 10 transactions. If you make $10,000 a transaction, it's $100,000 in revenue. 5 people, 10 transactions, $100,000, right? $10,000 per transaction. If you have 10 transactions, $100,000. So you have to look at these as lead generation strategies that when implemented will get amazing results. The problem is that you're doing the open house, as someone just told us this morning, and you're not doing it right. And you're just there to let people in. And if they want to ask you questions, you pick up a buyer, right? As opposed to looking at it as playing offense and using that house to leverage more sales. So we're going to get into exactly how this strategy works. I'm going to open up the slide deck. I wanted to say hi to my friend Richard Esposito. How you doing? I see you, buddy. How's it going? So good to see you. Hi. You don't have to talk if you don't. I'm going to go into my slide deck and I want to give you a literally roadmap today of how to take one house and sell multiple houses off of it, okay? And what that really actually means. So when I was a new agent, my first month in the business, not my first couple of months, very first month, I had 5 sales. Okay, and my dad had said to me, you might not sell a house for 6 months. You might want to get another job. And I was like, if it takes me 6 months to sell one house, I'm not doing this. Right? I had to pay for a condo. I had to pay for a car. And I had a really high shopping habit at 26 years. I was single. I was 26 years old. And I was like, I'm not asking Dave Johnson for money. And so I just was fear of failure. And I was like, I have to make this work. I have to sell houses. And so whatever your hunger is, whatever your drive is, tap into that. Okay. That's your why. So my first month, happy to report that I could go back to Dave Johnson and tell him I had 5 sales in my first month. And you're probably thinking, some people don't sell 5 houses in the first year. That's unacceptable to me. Like as a leader, as a real estate coach, as a former executive of a very large company, and a real estate manager coach, and all the things that I do and talk about, if someone comes into this business full time, which I assume all of you are on this call and you are full time, or at least striving to be full time, you can sell way more than 5 houses in your first year. Okay. Please, I'm not an anomaly because I had 27 sales in my first year. It's possible. You could have 27 sales between now and the end of the year, Caroline Bailey. Okay. I'm not talking craziness here. I'm talking strategy. So what's between you and those transactions? I don't know. But if you don't have a mindset that says, I'm going to sell 5 houses off of every house, you're never going to do it. Okay. So it starts with hearing my little story. So in that first month, I had my first listing. Okay. And what happened, ironically, and I forgot to make, here you go, Liz. Here's what's so crazy. I had 5 sales, and that first sale was a guy by the name of Tim Kren, who is like a friend of mine from 2nd grade. And thank you, Tim Kren, for buying a condo from me in my first month of business. Right? The other 4 came from one house. Now stay with me a moment. I listed this house from a call-in. It was not a high price point at all. It was a small house, $140,000 house, cute ranch with a basement. I sold it myself at the open house. The people who bought it had a home to sell. I sold that in less than 2 weeks. And I picked up a buyer from that open house who bought in that same month. 4 sales from one house. Okay. Now, if you're smart, you're writing down, leverage every single listing into multiple sales. That's what we're talking about doing. That strategy, that moment in that month, I said, this is how you sell houses. This is how you do real estate. You list one house and you sell houses off of it. And so there are some folks not able to get in. Liz, someone in my email is asking to get into, and maybe it's just because there it is, Stephanie. Perfect. Okay, she's in. So what are you doing? What can you do to ensure that you have multiple sales off of every listing? Well, it starts by not putting a house on the market, putting the sign up immediately, putting it in the MLS and having it sell too quickly. When agents say, well, I can't do an open house, Sherri, because the house is under contract. I'm like, you listed it on Monday. It sold by Wednesday. You don't have a marketing strategy to launch that listing. And I am never talking about not letting people in to see it. That's clear cooperation. I'm talking about you're going to show the property to agents. Agents can see it. I'm talking about a strategy that you leverage that house to talk to the neighbors, meet the neighbors, they are future clients, they're future buyers, they're future sellers, and they are huge referral sources right now at the time of that listing. But what we tend to do is put a sign up, put it in the MLS, it sells, and we move on to the next deal. I'm going to show you why that's a mistake and why that's actually hurting you by the opportunities that you're missing. Okay. So if you're first time with me, I'm Sherri Johnson, CEO and founder of Sherri Johnson Coaching, Consulting, Speaking. We provide strategies and solutions for agents, single solo agents, to teams, to companies, to managers, executives. And we have a solution at any level of your business life cycle. So if you're brand new, we have products that can help you and programs that can help you. If you are seasoned agent and you want to relaunch your business or take it to the next level, certainly we can help you. We're going to give you some really great stuff today. And that'll be both at the beginning of this and at the end. I do want to share with you real quick. I think it's 29 years. I should just say it's 1996, but next year is 30 years. So I'm 30 years in the business. I'm a managing broker. I'm in the Cleveland, Ohio market. And for years, I sold houses, 10 years. And then I was an executive with Howard Hanna Real Estate, the largest privately owned company brokerage in the country. And after that, about, I had 800 agents. grew that region from 500 million to $2 billion in sales in about 4 to 5 years. Kind of cool. It was a lot of fun. 2017, I left and started Sherri Johnson Coaching Consulting and Speaking, and it's been a blast. It's been just over 8 years. And my passion is literally to help you wherever you are. And today, transform your thinking and re-engineer your brain as to how you do this real estate, because my strategies will generate results for you like nothing else you've ever seen. I actually sold houses. I still am engaged listing and selling. I don't put my name on a sign, but I am extremely frontline center with consumers all the time. And I know how hard you work. So wherever you are, let's take it to the next level. It starts right now. It starts by putting an action list of things together and not just saying, oh, that was a great session, but actually saying, I'm going to do these things that Sherri said to do, because they will bring results. So at the end of this, star, circle, write it down, take notes, go look at your notes, take notes from your notes. I just heard that yesterday and I love that. I was on a coaching call with someone who coaches me, and it's true. Like, take notes off your notes. You can scan this to connect with me. You could also, at the end of the session, and you can scan this now and then book the call, get on my calendar for a 20-minute free coaching call. If you're already a client, obviously, you know, this is for people who aren't with us yet. But if you are a client and you're like, Sherri, I need you, of course, I'll meet with you. I want to help you with wherever you are with your business. So if it's about this strategy, or maybe you took Gold Mine Pipeline last week and you're like, I have my Gold Mine Pipeline and I want to have you look at it, give me some pointers, give me some strategies in this 20 minutes. We'll take it. It'll be the best 20 minutes that you've spent, and it's worth, you know, I don't know, it's worth a lot. So you can book that. I'll also show you this at the end. I have a podcast that's called You Rock. It's actually, this one has been retired, and I'm launching a new podcast this month called the Sherri Johnson Podcast. That will be coming out soon. You'll get an email so you can start listening into that. But this one has over 300 episodes. I'd love you to listen to it. People tell me they sell houses from the podcast. So there's some great content in there. If you did not know about this podcast, please go check it out. I jump right in. There's no fluff. There's no wasted time. I unapologetically just get started and tell you what to say, what not to say, how to execute, and how to win at a really high level. So I want you to think, like, in order to think I can sell 3 to 5 houses off of every one of my listings, you have to have a mindset that is in alignment with that thought. So when I have managers say, oh, you can't make 50 grand at an open house, that's impossible, I laugh and I say, I'm so sorry that you think that way. You've been doing this a long time and you have a zero mindset of abundance. You actually have done what unfortunately a lot of us have done, which is taken all of these bad habits and just compounded them into kind of a baked in, that doesn't work approach. And I think that's a mistake. If you have an abundant mindset, or maybe today I'm helping you change the way you look at things, that's what I do. It's transformative on purpose. I'm literally trying to transform your behavior so that you can do more, work less, and win. That's it. So if you have a mindset issue, or you have people in your world who are dragging you down, or the naysayers, we call them, maybe they need to come out of your life. Okay. Scarcity mindset is, that doesn't work. She's crazy. Whatever. It might happen once. No, this is actually, I built my entire career on it. And I've taught this to thousands of agents who use it regularly. So please change your mindset and think, how can I, the next time I list a really great house where I want more of those listings, leverage this strategy, because it will work. This is basically up to you. I cannot change this for you. Really, like only you can. Okay. So the power of one listing is this. If you are not a listing agent right now, you need to write down on a piece of paper, become a listing agent. 70-30, 60-40 of your deals, percentage-wise, should be on the list side. If they're not right now and it's the reverse, 70% are buyer sides, that's okay. You are going to make a conscious decision right now to change that and put listings as a priority. If you are not comfortable with the listing, I get it. You're probably sitting there saying, I don't know how to talk to listings. They're hard. They're mean. That's what people tell me. They're mean. No, they're not mean. It's just a different conversation. So once you perfect that talk track on how to speak to a seller, trust me when I tell you, your whole life will change. You will be on offense. You will have more control of your time. You have more control of your time, and the buyers will come anyway. Okay. So say to yourself, I want to be a listing agent. I'm going to make a decision right now that this is happening, right? It's not happening if you are just constantly working. I had a call with an agent this week, and she said, well, my price point has always been, the 175. And she said, but I live in a $600,000 house. And I said, well, we got to change your mindset. You just told me my price point has always been, and that's why it will always continue to be. Right? What we think is what we believe, which turns into our actions. If we say we're part-time, we're going to get part-time results. So even if you are like doing this as a side hustle to get rid of the full-time job that you sort of have to have right now, you have to say, I'm doing this and I'm doing it full-time. I realize you're doing it, with an interesting schedule right now. But the power of one listing is I'm going to leverage this listing into multiple sales. Look at the bottom. I should turn this into 3 to 5 sales. Most of the people, when they sign up for coaching with us, one of our questions in the skills assessment is, do you sell? I always sell 3 to 5 houses off of every listing. No one has ever answered that yes. No one has ever said excellent, right? They say, what are you talking about? That sounds crazy. So I'm here to tell you this will happen, but I have to tell you, you have to take the listing too. Like you can't say, oh, they're crazy. They want to overprice the house. 25% of the listings are overpriced right now. That's 1 out of 4 are testing the market, and that's okay. Those houses are good listings. Let's not throw it out, throw the baby out with the bathwater. We get a sign in that yard. I remember someone saying, I can't believe you took that listing. And I said, you would have taken this. You just didn't have an opportunity to take it, right? And that's the truth. It was $30,000 higher than where I said it should be listed, right? So what? $600,000 house. Have a better strategy for, 30, 60, 90 days while it's on the market to get a better price adjustment, to have an initial list price and then a new price. Okay, so take the listing, use it. Everything you get from the sign in the yard, that sign is a billboard. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have a billboard in someone's yard. If it's on a main road, even better. Thousands of people are seeing that billboard advertisement of your name, right? The signage, the visibility, so much more comes from the list side. Buyer agent never really gets credit for that sale publicly. So once you become a listing agent, that's rule number 1, okay? The second thing is you have to realize that this is a mantra, like whether you write this down or you start to believe it, I'm going to sell 3 to 5 houses off of every sale, okay? Maximize that property because there are listings behind it. In fact, I know for a fact where there is 1 for sale sign, 2 to 3 more signs are going to pop up in that neighborhood, right? In the next, 3 to 12 months, say 3 to 6 to 12 months, where there is 1 for sale sign, 2 to 3 more signs are going to pop up. So look at the last listing you had. When you had that listing, right? And maybe it was 3 months ago. There have been more signs coming up after that. That's not a coincidence. It's not like you're like, oh, look, more people are saying, those could have your name on them. You want to own a neighborhood? Do what I'm about to show you, okay? You want to own the neighborhood and get those 2 to 3 more signs that are going to come up in the next 6 to 12 months. You need to start talking to the people in that neighborhood now. That's where we make the mistake. We're like, oh, nosy neighbors, this is dumb. Why would I want them to come to my open house? I'm going to explain why in a moment. These are going to result in future sales, okay? And I know every one of you needs business 6 months from now. Don't you all need business in 6 months? You need business 12 months from now. Let's stop playing the short game and acting like I only want the people who want to do something right now. You need business months from now in the future. That's playing the long game. That's a smarter approach. I want you to think about this. If you had a strategy that you said, I'm going to do one more unit a month between now and the next 12 months, from May 25 rather, to May 26. Like, if you were going to do one more unit a month, that's 12 more units in a 12-month period. What times what you make? Let's say you make $10,000 a deal. It's $120,000. Okay. That's how I want you to start thinking. Re-engineer the way that you think. If I get 5 clients out of one house, I'm going to be very happy. Right? 5 clients, they all have a house to sell, 10 transactions. You following me? 10 transactions times 10, it's $100,000. If you make $5,000 a deal, it's $50,000. Okay. But you have to start with, where is it that you're spending your time? If you are not spending your time booking listing appointments and having the mindset of, I have to book myself appointments every week with the leads that I generate. I was on a call with the team yesterday, and one of the agents hadn't done a meeting yet with someone they met at an open house. But it's really hard to get that person to meet with you once they are just now texting you, isn't it? Like, when you are at that open house and you say, hey, let's meet, we're gonna do a buyer consultation, let's book that. Well, trust me, 98% success rate if you try to, when you book something in person with somebody. And I say, Carolyn, what's better for you, this day or this day? Now focus on listing appointments. Same thing. I want you to get listing appointments off of every one of these sales that you have. Okay. But you can't do it if you list it on a Monday and the house sells on Wednesday, and now it's got a pending sign, and you cancel the open house. This doesn't work. Opportunities aren't lost. They go to somebody else. When you talk to somebody at your open house and they say, oh, we're not doing anything for 6 months, and you're like, oh, well, that's not a good lead. And then those people end up listing their house in 2 weeks. Okay. How many of you have lost a lead because you didn't follow up with them, and then they ended up listing, right? They end up listing that house and you see it in the MLS, or you see the sign in the yard, and you're like, those people lied to me. They told me they were not ready. And that's not really the case. They said that day, but somebody else came in with more enthusiasm and closed the deal. Okay. And you didn't. That's the problem. The opportunity isn't lost. It's not like they vanish. They will buy, they will sell with someone eventually. And what we tend to do is we don't like it if it's not an A person ready, willing to do it now, right? We want all the people that are doing it now. You don't have enough of those people. So you got to build the others. Now, when you look at the sales conversion process and you say, okay, I'm going to meet people at my open houses, I'm going to meet people at my new listings, I'm going to go generate listings on my own. We meet people and we take them through a conversion. We take them through the stages of the sales process. Every sales job has a process, and people come into it at different varying stages of where they are ready to buy or sell. And so you have to add value at every one of these levels. Like, write that down. Am I adding value? Add value. Person who adds the most value gets hired. Adding value could look like educational marketing, your home buyer guide, your exclusive home buyer guide, right? Why do I say exclusive? Because it's a word that works. This is what I do. I'm the only one who does this, right? This is my program. Not even your company. It's like it's yours, right? So adding value, and then right here where it says client to appointment, you have to close this gap and get an appointment. Appointments make sales happen. You don't have any appointments? No one, and I mean no one will be listing their house with you. It just doesn't work that way, okay? Now, one of the strategies I talk about is to sell listings off of your listings, right? Is to do this. So I'm going to skip here to a slide. I want to tell you that your open house strategy needs work. If you are just doing the open house to make the seller happy, because it's the 2 hours they see you physically in the house, it's not going to work long-term. That's going there, being bored. Maybe people show up, maybe they don't, right? I want you to do the open house and actually strategically say, wow, this is the most profitable and most productive 2 hours or 3 hours of my week. Why would it be the most profitable? Well, you picked up new clients and you're putting those people on your gold mine pipeline. That's it. Okay. Most profitable and most productive 2 hours of your week. But you can't do that if you don't have a good strategy. So we just did this session a couple of weeks ago and I went through the entire strategy. What I want to tell you right now is you want to add value. Okay. And when you think about what are those things that we add value, well, Sunday's open house day. It's the best time to showcase your new listing. You are open for business and you are going to look at it as a way to convert leads into appointments. Not just did I have a lot of traffic at the open and pick up some buyers. The first change up in your strategy is to say, I'm going to use this house like I did to pick up listings. And then every single time I did an open house, I wanted to be in a move up house, that someone would have a house to sell because they were moving up from another house from a price point. If you do open houses at first time buyer opens, that's all you're going to get are first time buyers. Nobody has a listing to sell in that arrangement. Okay. So strategically, you want to be sitting at the right house, picking the right property, choosing the right property, the wrong house versus the right house. Like a house that's on a desolate road may not be the best, right? If it doesn't show well, it's not the price point that's selling. Look at the showings in the showing apps that we have, showing time, and you can see where everybody is, right? You want to catch 50-pound salmon, you got to be in the waters where the 50-pound salmon are. I learned that in a CRS class. This guy said, if you want to catch 50-pound salmon, you got to be where the 50-pound salmon are. Well, if you want to be in the 500 price point, you got to be where the $500,000 buyers are, right? If you want to give yourself a raise, be in the houses where we're going to get a listing and a buyer side. Okay. Every person who comes in has a house to sell. That is why this works. 75% of open house attendees are never followed up on, which, as an agent, I loved. As a broker, I hated because I was like, you guys were missing opportunities here. Those are good leads, the neighbors, all of it. Okay. Now it doesn't just stop at the open. I'm going to cover a little bit more on the open house here in a moment. If you've not heard, I have a phrase and a program and a strategy called microfarming. And I'm going to give you a couple high-level tips on how to use microfarming to go out and get listings. And the first way, and actually my slides are out of order. The first way is to generate listings in a specific neighborhood. So if you want to screenshot this or take a picture of it or write it down, the first way is I'm going to go into a neighborhood and get listings. You don't have any listings right now. This is a great opportunity for you to do this. One listing then turns into multiple listings. Okay. But if you say, Sherri, I don't have a listing, I get it. Okay. The second way is to launch your listing, your new listing, into that neighborhood with a neighborhood open house preview and a grand open house event. The third way is to go out and find properties for your buyers in a low inventory market where there's either no inventory, low inventory, or you've shown them houses and they don't like any of them. Okay. Now, when you're talking about just working a neighborhood to be the expert in that neighborhood and to just, start out like out of nowhere, I would say use my 3 R's approach. Okay. This is how I have a letter. I'm going to show it to you. It says, are you thinking about remodeling, refinancing, or relocating? I call it the 3 R's. Why do I do this? Well, the first two are decoys. I want them to be like, oh, if you're remodeling, maybe it's in your best financial interest to actually sell your home and not throw in $100,000 into a remodel where I can't get that money back for you, right? That would be a bad investment for them. No ROI. That's going to be a house they can't resell. Right? If you're thinking about remodeling, it may be in your best financial interest to actually get a price opinion of your house, its current value, and then decide if that remodeling project makes sense or not. Totally makes sense, right? Maybe let's go buy the next house and not have to do, the next house will have what you want in it. If you're going to refi, I've got opportunities there. I can help you in both cases, remodeling or refining. I can save you time and money. It opens the door for a conversation for you to meet with them and discuss what their options are and what the best course of action would be for them. Hence, creating a new contact, someone who goes on your pipeline, right? And if they end up, and you say, well, what if they end up remodeling? Okay. They're going to refer you people. They become a person on your list. It's not time wasted. The relocate one, obviously, is what I really want to get to. Okay. And I remember one of my best friends, I haven't said this one in a while, but like, he didn't sell. I was in sales. He didn't sell that year. And he said, I'm mad at you, Sherri. And his name's Todd. And I said, why are you mad at me? And he's like, because you didn't make me sell my house last year. And I was like, make you sell your house? What are you talking about? So, well, you're like, he said to me, you're like my stockbroker for real estate. When my stockbroker tells me to sell, I sell. But if you would have told me to sell my house, I probably would have done it. Right. And so I started using that line, and I want you to use it. Many of my coaching clients use it, and it's true. Like, I'm like your stockbroker for real estate. And I want to give you your home's current value every quarter, twice a year. You should know what your house is worth, whether you're moving or not. Right. And that's where I come in. And that's how you keep a stickiness to your entire fan base. Right. So, I'm not a stockbroker. I don't want to be, but you are a professional real estate agent that adds value. Okay. And this is all going to help buying power, interest rates, all of that. What if your buying power goes down? Instead of remodeling, right now, your buying power gets you a bigger house. That's a conversation I have with people all the time still. It's crazy. Okay. That's one way. When you become the expert in that neighborhood, right? You market yourself as the neighborhood expert. Postcards, like, people don't realize this, and agents think postcards are a waste. They're not. Most people are not getting a lot of mail right now. My agent who made $100,000 doing micro farming in 3 months, closed $100,000 in commissions, spent $3,000 on postcards. How many of us, we'd all spend $3,000 to make 100, right? I'd spend $6,000 to make 100. So the postcards have to say something like action oriented. You just listed another busy month, another listing in your neighborhood by Sherri Johnson, right? If you send out 5 cards, brand new listing, inviting you to the neighborhood open house and the open house, a new price, it's under contract, and now meet your neighbor, right? That's 5 cards. I know you're not going to do all 5. What if you did? What if you sent out 5 cards? Here's what would happen to me. Every single neighbor would say, you sell everything here. And I'm like, no, I don't. I literally had people they would come in with the postcard, and they would say, I see you selling everything. It was the same house. I sent them 5 postcards on the same house, guys. And then eventually I got all of them. Like, everybody started using me. So just see yourself winning before you even start winning. Okay. The neighbors are going to be your best friends. This is how this works. It's amazing. Now, we have a form, and we help you, with 20 neighbors. And this is part of the Sherri Johnson Academy and all of our documents. But imagine if you added a phone call. You do a phone call to this strategy. Jennifer, I just listed your neighbor's house at 127 blah, blah street, right? You add a phone call to this. Oh, I'll let you know when it sells, right? What did it sell for? Well, I can't tell you, but as soon as it transfers, I'll call you back and tell you. You will have 5 contacts on the phone with these people. You think they're not going to refer you to people? You think they're not going to use you? You've become the real estate agent expert in that neighborhood, okay? This document just helps you keep track of the people you're calling and what you're calling about. Calls and postcards. Okay, together make this a really, really great program. Okay. So here's the letter. And it's just very, very nice. I mean, this can be a letter, this can be a door hanger, this can be a flyer, this can be an email, this can be a postcard. Okay. It's just the content. And I want you to copy the content and put it into place. Now there's a point in this where it says, maximize the value of your home. Some homes are at 15 to 25%. a while ago that said 20 to 40% higher, right? So depending on your market, you need to customize that piece of this. And my suggestion would be there's a really good call to action. The full letter that I give you, it's not shown, but the full letter actually has the call to action, which means set an appointment with me, scan the QR code, and book an appointment with me. Okay. And all of you can do that, whether you have, you can create your own letter and you can use a QR code and you can do what I just said, which is, call to action. The call to action is the part they need to see. Again, postcard, email, wherever you're sending it, door hanger, etc. Now, another way, and by the way, once you list your neighbors, you call into, and what we don't do, we just never do enough of this, okay? Which is, if we're going to have a pre-open house event and you call the neighbors and you say, Jennifer, this is Sherri Johnson with XYZ Real Estate. I just listed your neighbor's property and I wanted you to be the first to know about it. And Jennifer's going to say, oh, I didn't see the sign yet. And you're going to say, that's because it hasn't gone up yet. It's going up this afternoon or tomorrow. In the meantime, I wanted you to be the first to know about it in case you have a friend, family member, or coworker that I can show the property to. I'd love to get them in right away. And Jennifer says, wow, my friend Kim, absolutely. I say, great, I'll get Kim's information before we hang up. Jennifer, the other reason I was calling is I wanted to invite you to a exclusive neighborhood only, pre-open house event for this property. It's going to be on Thursday between 6 and 8. I'm serving this, I'm serving that, whatever. Some people do wine, some people don't do any food, whatever you do, right? Some people, I have agents who do taco trucks in the driveway. People love it. They don't bring the food in. Do food, don't do food. I don't really care. Jennifer, I wanted to invite you to the exclusive neighborhood open house preview. It's going to be on this day. I like Thursdays and Friday afternoons, right after work. We get, we had an agent, she had 44 people come to this event. She got 4 listing leads from it. 4. Okay. So I'm happy if you get 7 to 10 people. Like, that's still good. Right? So you invite them. Okay. The third reason for my call, Jennifer, is that invariably when I list a home in any neighborhood, there are always 2 to 3 more people who are thinking about selling in the next 3 to 24 months. And I thought you might be one of them. And it's a beautiful way to ask somebody if they're moving. Do you follow me? Like, think about this. I don't have to say, hey, are you thinking about moving? I'm going to tee it up that this happens all the time and it's only normal. And actually 2 to 3 people in your neighborhood are thinking about moving. I thought you might be one of them. And Jennifer can say, oh, you know what, we are, but it won't be probably until Matthew graduates. And you say, when is that? And they say June. And you say, obviously next June, not this one, right? And they say, yes, next year in May, we're going to move because we don't need this big house. And where am I putting that, everybody? Right on the gold mine pipeline. And what I'm going to say to Jennifer is, great, that's awesome. You know what? In my head, I'm doing a backflip. I need business a year from now. Okay. Especially at a $500,000 price point. I say to Jennifer, hey, I'd love, and it's never too soon to have me over. I'd like to get a benchmark price opinion of your house in today's market. So over the next, 12 months or 8 to 10 months, we can watch it and I'll keep you apprised at every step, whether that's quarterly or every 6 months, so that you always know what your house is worth. So what's a good time for me to come over? After the neighborhood open house or after the Sunday open or next week, right? I'm coming. I just did a 15-minute tour and I can't wait to meet you, right? So bring a friend, bring a neighbor, bring a family member to the neighborhood open. And by the way, you can do the neighborhood open house the same day as the Sunday open, 2 hours before, okay? I like to keep them separate. I know we have a lot of clients, coaching clients who love the neighborhood open preview better than the Sunday open because they are top listing agents and they like to get in front of more potential sellers. That's what you're doing here, okay? not just putting a sign up. And by the way, let's go back to that comment. When she said her friend Kim would want to see the house, here's what's awesome, everybody. You're about to rock it with the seller of your new listing, because when you took that listing, you actually used my script that said, I go out and find the buyer for your home. The number one thing a seller wants the listing agent to do is find a buyer for their home. Number 2, sell it in a time frame that meets their needs. Number 3, price it competitively. And number 4, prepare it for sale. So when I told them that, now I'm showing the house to her friend Kim. Okay. Now you are going to look amazing because you just listed it. Now you're going to call them and say, I have a showing. I told you I was going to canvass the neighborhood. Every seller, every neighbor rather, wants to pick their neighbor. They say that. Jennifer, I thought you'd want to pick your neighbor. Do you have a friend, family member, or coworker I can show the house to? Kim. Yes, great. Now you show Kim and Mike the house. They fall in love with it. They buy it. Probably not, but they might. Your seller thinks you're amazing. You just picked up a $500,000 buyer, because the house I listed, I forgot to tell you, is at $550,000. I have a $500,000 buyer now that I got from the neighborhood. And they have a house to sell, don't they, Caroline? They have a house to sell. Guess what? You actually just picked up 2 great potential transactions because you called the neighbors, okay? What's crazy, and I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. What usually happens is you don't call the neighbors, you just send out a postcard. Maybe, if you even do a postcard. You put the sign in the yard, you put it in the MLS, you do the neighborhood, you do the open house for the public. And Jennifer, the same woman, same neighbor, drives down the street in her SUV, right? Or car, whatever. And she sees your sign and she goes driving over the sign. She calls Kim herself. She says, Kim, there is a new listing in my neighborhood. Here's the address. 514 Button Circle. I don't know the price. Go look it up. And I'm going to ask all of you to say to me, where do you think that person's going to go when someone says, go look it up? They're going to Zillow. Aren't they? They're going to go look it up on Zillow and click a button to book an appointment. That could have been yours. Okay, so hopefully I ruined that for you. It's my job. Think about that. Happens every day. Happens all the time. That's what they do. They're not going to say, Sherri Johnson, here's her cell phone number. Maybe, if I'm lucky, right? Put your QR codes on your sign writers, please. That's how you can, and make sure your QR code is giving you the person who called. If you don't have that kind of a QR code, we sell it. We have an amazing digital business card marketing platform. It comes with our coaching. That's what you want. You want to be able to track who's scanning that. Jennifer is just calling her friend and she's going to say, go look it up. And now I have a showing and I'm excited about a showing with some agent from who knows where land. It's not me though, right? So agents will say to me, I have a showing on my new listing. And you know what I say? Should call the neighbors, because that showing could have been yours. Okay. So pre-open house event gets you a lot of traction. Number 1, I'm calling to tell you about the house. It's listed in the address, the price. I didn't see the sign. That's because it hasn't gone up yet. It's going up this afternoon or tomorrow. Before it goes up though, I wanted to tell you about it first so you could potentially pick your neighbor. Everybody loves this. They actually are like, that's awesome. Thank you. And by the way, if you don't want to call, pick up the phone and call, walk around the neighborhood and tell people. Take a cute dog. I'm telling you, all my clients have cute dogs. They walk around with their dogs and people talk to them. Dog people talk to dog people. It's a thing. I have dogs. My dogs aren't that friendly though. They're getting better. I think they just never see other dogs. But my point is this: you will talk to people. Canvass the neighborhood with a door hanger and talk to people and invite them And when you have people showing up at your pre-neighborhood open house event with the postcard and they say, I got this from you. Here's a direct quote from one of my, Jenny told me this. I got this postcard from you and I'm here, like it's an admission ticket. And she said, can you sell my house? It's that simple. We make this so much harder than it has to be, okay? That is not hard to sell 5 houses off of one house. Now, is it always going to be 5? I don't know. I say 5, I'm happy with 3. I think you'll be happy with 3 new clients off of every house too. And by the way, 3 new clients, if they all have a house to list, is actually 6 sales. So in order to sell 5 sales, you really need 2 people that have a house to sell and 1 buyer. And that's 5, right? I mean, look what I did at that open house, right? So I sold it myself. I sold their house. 4 sales from 1 house. What are you going to do to ensure that that same strategy can work for you? Because it can, and it will, but you have to have the mindset in advance. The other thing I want you to do, and this is a freebie, it's not on a slide, but if you have a new listing coming up, any of you have a new listing that you're not gonna, you aren't listing for till June or something, right? Or I guess June is in 2 weeks, but let's say it's listing in July and you have a new listing coming up in the next 4 to 6 weeks. If you start mailing that neighborhood right now, so Caroline, you've got that big listing coming up, you can start postcards to that neighborhood. You're not promoting the house you're about to list because it's not listed yet. I would take that person's name off the mailing list because you already have them as a client. And then I would, canvas, whether it's 80 houses or 200 houses, and just start sending them information about your services and what you do. You're promoting yourself and your services. You're writing something that says, thinking about selling, scan the QR code for a market update, right? Or a personal market update, book an appointment and I'll come in and see your house for a 15-minute quick tour. It doesn't have to be a bunch of words. You could send that same 3 R's to the same list of people, okay? And then change it up and send out something again. Here's why. I want you to start marketing your name into that neighborhood, because when you call those people to tell them that you are listing your new listing and it's gone on the market, they're going to say what? Oh my gosh, I get your cards. They already know your name. You're like a celebrity already. You are a household name on that street. You've sent 3 cards out before your sign is going up in that street, on their street. And they're like, oh, Sherri Johnson lists everything. We see her. We already know her name. We know that person's name. We know Kevin Dowell's name because we see it all the time in their mailbox. And now they're seeing it because the sign is up, right? That is called prep. Think about this. You've read The Tipping Point, right? It's like power of suggestion. It's why everybody thought I sold everything, because they got a bunch of cards from me all the time. Okay, so what are you doing? What can you do? How can you implement these strategies? I can't wait to hear what you're going to do with them. And I also know, I didn't get into the how to go find buyers. That'll be a completely different session. But microfarming to find buyers in a low inventory market, again, we don't have to just wait for what's coming in the MLS. That is a bad habit you've adopted. It just is what you do when you're a real estate agent, is you basically develop all these bad habits because that's what we do. And then no one, unless you're me, tells you to change. And so one thing I want to end with, I want you to book yourself appointments. I want you to double the number of appointments from last year to this year. And you might have to quadruple it, actually, but do 4 times what you did last year. I don't know. I don't see your schedule on your calendar, but if you're brand new, you need to say, how many appointments do I need to go on a week? There are 40 plus hours in your work week. 80% of them need to be on generating new business. I get it. You have to follow up with the lead. You have to follow up on the sale you just had. I get it. But the most important thing you do is book appointments. That's it. That is the only thing. There are 2 kinds of calls, everybody. Service calls or prospecting for new business. Call it lead gen. You don't like the word prospect, right? I don't care. I just want new business and I want it on my calendar. That's what you need to have, is a tenacity that says, I'm going to do whatever it takes to fill my calendar. It may not happen in 5 calls. It might take you 30. It might take you 30 to get one and then another 30. I don't know how good you are at your closing. I don't know your conversion. I don't know your strategy. That's why we coach people. Okay. If you're making a bunch of calls, they aren't getting anything, go listen to my podcast, sign up for coaching. Go talk to someone at your office who's successful, right? 2 kinds of calls. And I'm telling you, it is vital that you block out the time on your calendar to do this. And I have a slide earlier that said focus on listing appointments. I would do an open house and I would list a brand new listing. And all I wanted was to leverage that listing into more listing appointments. Okay. The great thing about listings is they make more listings, but you have to be strategic. You have to have that in your brain instead of, I sold a house and now I move on to the next one, right? Leverage is awesome. The fortune is in the follow-up. I hate this slide with the dollar bills. I'm going to change that. I always say that when it pops up. Think about this. The fortune is in the follow-up. It's not in everybody comes in, they're ready to go right now. Every person that comes into your house, you got to get an appointment with them right away, because that will change. I promise you. Just because they said we're not moving for a year, I wouldn't listen to that. I wouldn't be pushy, but people's life and plans change and they're emotionally driven. So you need to get an appointment with the people who are a year out. Tell them, I'm not coming to list your house. I'm coming to see it. I want to add value. I can help you with the home repair list, right? 80% of sales are made after 5 contacts. Yet 48% of the time we give up after the first time we call somebody. Like, I had an agent who didn't follow up on an open house lead. And when she did, she came to me and she said, I'm so glad you made me do this follow up. And I said, well, it looks like something good happened. She said, yeah, I got a listing appointment. I said, oh, that's awesome. It was a $400,000 listing. And I said, wow, where'd this come from? Where's this lead from? And she said, you're going to be mad at me. And I said, no, I'm not. And she said, it was an open house. And it was a guy that I met 2 weeks ago. And he was mad he hadn't heard from me yet. And I said, wow. I said, Rosemary, you could have closed that at the open house. You realize that? Like, you could have closed the appointment for the listing at the open house. And she said, yes, your script's all coming back to me. And I said, well, use them. I mean, this is how this works, right? People right now, like, the no isn't never. It just means in the moment right now is not good time. So ask better qualifying questions. Find out, add value. Say, you know what? I can add value at the front end. You need me now. I need to come. And, you know, this whole script on how to make 50 grand your next open house is available in the academy. Some of you have access to that already. If you don't, you can get that through Playbook or through coaching. But we can't just say, see ya, have a great day. Thanks for coming to my open house. I want you, when they walk out that door, I want you to say, I have a listing appointment with that person. And it can and will happen, but you have to have a better strategy for that. Okay. The entire strategy is in the Sherri Johnson Academy. Now, one of the tools we use to track your progress is an agent weekly, monthly action plan. And this is going to track your goals to actual. And if you're in coaching, you need to be using this every week. If you are not in our coaching program, you can get this through the academy, through the Playbook. You can also get it, you know, if you sign up for coaching. So this one document, this one pager is a life changer. And I've had agents go from selling 4 to 5 houses a month to selling 10 to 12 instantly, like within a month. Okay. So it's just about leveraging your goldmine pipeline. If you have not downloaded the goldmine pipeline yet, please go to sherrijohnson.com. You can download the goldmine pipeline. I'm actually going to pull that up right now so you can get this document because I do have a QR code you can scan to get this goldmine pipeline system. This is literally going to double or triple your business. It will create consistent, predictable income. 2 things you probably don't have currently is any predictability or consistent income. It's a roller coaster ride that you're on. I get it. This eliminates that. And I have people, actually, some people on this call right now who told me if all they got from coaching was the gold mine pipeline, that it was worth the $12,000 investment in coaching. So this will double or triple your, I mean, you can make another 150 grand. In fact, most of our coaching clients do just that. They make about another 150 plus. And we've had people go, increase by 500 to 700,000 in 1 year. That's pretty fun. And I'm telling you right now, it is there for you as well. So another really cool thing, and I'm going to show you this academy. So it's called Playbook, and it's a monthly subscription to access the Sherri Johnson Academy. So some of my clients who are on here who are switching from Academy to Playbook, it's all of the same content. It's just our monthly subscription product, and you can get this for either. In fact, Liz, would you drop this in the chat? So you can subscribe. There's no contract, $49 a month or $99 a month. And this is going to give you access to everything in the Sherri Johnson Academy, the downloadable videos, the downloadable content, the letters, etc. And then I think we have that in the chat. Are we putting that in the chat? Let's double check. Liz is going to put this in the chat. I just don't see her putting it in here. So we'll get her to put that in the chat. And then lastly, and not actually lastly, but I wanted to give you this, I'll come back to this in a second. By the way, this is on the go learning. You can watch these videos wherever you are, and you can let's make this happen. You can, just download the app. You can see these things learning on the go. It's really fantastic. And then I do want to, again, encourage you to set up a coaching call to get on my calendar. And the reason I'm going to say this is that, ideally you're going, okay, your keyboard's not working. And ideally, you're going to take this stuff and run with it. The problem is that a day will go by, a week will go by, and you'll forget what I just told you. Okay. So if you book this call for, next week or a week after, and you've done, the gold mine pipeline, thanks, Paul. Good luck on your showing. You're welcome. And if you book this call, right, we're going to talk about what's working, what's not working. How do we get you to the next level, right? How do we implement this strategy? Or you have a new listing coming up, or you just want help with your gold mine pipeline, right? There are so many great things that come out of this call. And some people sign up for coaching and some people don't, and that's totally fine. I'm going to give you here is the playbook where you can scan to the right and get playbook, which is going to give you the content. Again, there's no contract. You can cancel anytime right from the dashboard. And those dollar bills should be hundreds. Donna, I love that. As a matter of fact, I think we'll change that to $100 bills. That's awesome. That's really good. Anyway, the Playbook Plus gives you a free 1 hour included, right? In the subscription gives you a 1 hour group coaching call where we actually talk to you, coach you in a small group, and help you advance and take your business to the next level. A lot of people start with Playbook and they end up going into coaching as a result of that. I am going to show you that we have a coaching slide where you can actually, let's see here. This is, if you're interested in coaching, Liz, would you put the coaching slide where they can actually get coaching? Here it is. And I'm going to tell you, this is Melinda, who went from 3 to 9 million to 12 million. She's going to do 20 million this year. She's a rock star. She's been with us 5 years, I think, in coaching. Every year we just take it to the next level. She says about now, last year she did 84 transactions. She'll probably clear 100 transactions this year. That's the goal. Art, great to see you, my friend. Take it. Everybody, go to your showings, go to your appointments, book the call. We'd love to have you. And we are giving you in the playback link, we will actually give you 50% off your first month of coaching. That is good. Whenever you want to start now. If you join coaching, you will not regret it. The ROI is incredible. And we have, again, playbook is available. That's the easiest thing to join. If you haven't booked this call for a free coaching call, I'll give it to you one more time here. And you can sign up. I'd love to see you, meet you personally. If you're a broker, if you have a company, we have solutions for you at every level. Be happy to talk to you about customizing a program that works for your company, your team, and bring you all of this strategy so that you and your entire company can thrive. Our next Catalyst coaching will be Thursday, May 29th at 1 p.m. And that topic will be announced very shortly. And we'd love to have you. And remember, right, that your success breeds more success. I'm here to help you. We're all here to help you grow. Let's sell 5 houses off of every one of your listings. It has to start with your mindset. It has to start with a plan, and you have to go out and get a listing. Okay. If you have a listing, you already have a listing, you can still do this with that listing that's already on the market. Okay. Call the neighbors. Even if that house has been listed for a while, call the neighbors, have a neighborhood open house preview with a new price or with no price. Launch this plan right now for great success. Some of you that are on here that I know that are managers, take this, teach your agents this. If you're an agent on here, please implement these. Let's make it happen. I'm excited for you. I'm here. If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. And I'll see you next time. Donna, good to see you. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Go out and list and sell. I'll see you soon.